People do not read because reading at the beginning is very difficult, actually painful. But once they get engaged, actually get entangled, the pain turns into a type of pleasure that cannot be paralleled.
You make it sound so nice. The idea of reading, for many people, it's really a taboo issue. You know, like when we think of reading, many of us, we think of school. When we were back in school and we were forced, you know, we had textbooks and we were forced to read certain things for grades or for exams. And I think that puts off a lot of people.
Well, this is not reading. When we talk about what we should do, actually what we have to do, and I'm using have to refer to something that external powers impose upon me. This is not the kind of reading I'm talking about. I'm talking about a feeling that you have, a need to know something, to learn something, to seek something. It is a kind of shift that you try to make in the mentality of your children, of the people around you. Instead of asking orally about things that they need to know, you show them the way to know it. But we have a problem here. We like to talk.
Yeah, definitely.
We like to talk. We are social beings, and we certainly love the position of teachers. It is the securest position. When you speak, when you advise, you feel secure. So when somebody would come up to you and say, I don't know this, or somebody would ask you a direct question, do you know this blah blah, and you know the answer. It is the easiest thing to say. Well, you assume the position of the person who knows, and then you begin lecturing. But a less pleasurable thing for you, but a much beneficial thing for your listener, is to say, well, you can go to that source, that book, and make sure that you read it. And I do this at home. Even my own children, when they ask me about things in my own speciality, I would say, there is a book in our library. Why don't you go and pick yourself and tell me?
Interesting, interesting tip.
Those of you who are living in the West, watching certain channels, satellite TVs, they know that these people have nothing to do but brainwash people, make their brains dirty, confuse them, give them the wrong message, and convince them with this wrong and false informations. Most of people actually buy that. And that is a challenge which the dua and the Muslim preachers and Muslims in general confront, because they flip the picture. They confuse the issues. You see, if anything happens anywhere to a non-Muslim, the whole international media will be talking about it day and night, day and night, day and night. Muslim terrorists, Muslim fanatics, Muslim extremists. And if there is an influential scholar who's traveling from one country to another, they say he's an extremist. He's preaching extreme Islam, the extreme version of Islam. You know what is left is to ask these guys to teach us what is moderate Islam. You know, this is how many people, laymen, will be misled. They would not have the true leaders. They would not have the chance to sit before the true scholars, as nowadays, as you know, in most countries, in most of the Muslim countries, the true scholars are put behind bars, persecuted, maybe even assassinated, banned from going out of the country, talking to people under home arrest, you name it. That happened at the time of Imam Abu Hanifa radiallahu anhu and many of the scholars. Imam Abu Hanifa, when he refused to be hired by the Khalifa as the chief judge because he would never, ever sign a decree or a decision, a verdict, to execute somebody who's supposed to be freed, or to hurt or to jail somebody who's innocent. So when he was forced, he refused. He was beaten, he was jailed, and finally he was home arrest, and he was banned from teaching people al-Islam. Those who put him in prison have died. Who knows about them? But Imam Abu Hanifa's knowledge is everywhere, mashallah.
A lot of people put the argument forth that, well, wait a second, I mean, you know, it's different. Yes, its origins, but now it's evolved, it's different, it symbolizes something so beautiful and so, you know, so innocent, you know, love. And I was reading an article today in the newspaper that people are complaining, even non-Muslim parents are complaining that their 11-year-old daughters and, you know, sons are, you know, they want to find a boyfriend or girlfriend for Valentine's Day. And, you know, they bought red dresses and so on. So even, you know, non-Muslim parents are like, wait a second. And the article says that, you know, at our time, 11, you know, we're doing this and playing or something. And now people are thinking about, you know, finding boyfriend, girlfriend, that they're going to be left out. They're not fitting in because on Valentine's Day, they don't have a Valentine, you know, the whole thing of would you be my Valentine and so on. So what are some arguments that we as Muslims could put against this? No, let's obviously from the start, the whole shirk issue and the whole origins, this is something that should stop someone. But let's, you know, put that on the side and say, you know, people come and say, well, what's the big deal? You know, it's just about love. And what are some of the arguments that we know we would put forth, rational arguments?
I mean, first of all, no doubt the whole aspect of the shirk side of it. I mean, just the fact that it, you know, its origin comes from you know, idol
worship, right?
Pagan god worship, sacrificing to the pagan god. Like you said, every act of it, even the act itself that they were doing with you know, with each other was worship. I mean, this is enough. That's the main.
Cuts it out.
You know,
right.
That's the main point that, you know, really is undeniable. I mean, obviously, we know Islamically that there's no other Eid or no other celebration apart from the two Eids. But I mean, I would be very disappointed or very, you know, well, who knows these days, but it'd be very shocking if we had to go down that road for them when we have like I said, where we've established, and even many Christians, by the way, who will also say the same thing. They'll also say, don't celebrate Valentine's, don't celebrate Halloween, because they come back to devil worship or pagan god worship. So I mean, and you know, alhamdulillah, we as Muslims, we are the real propagators of Tawheed. We are the real monotheists. You know, we're not monotheists, inshallah, that just say we're monotheists, but you know, we say we're monotheistic, but in our worship and our beliefs, we end up becoming polytheistic in many ways and many angles. You know, so if other people who don't implement the monotheism fully then are saying stay away from it, then how can any of us Muslims who, inshallah, calling to the Tawheed, to the oneness of Allah, how can we then doubt or say no, it's not a big issue, or that's not be extreme? You know, I mean, that's really that should be more than enough.